Well, we have reached the milestone. All of the over fenders are mounted, and that means it's time to start bodywork. Don't worry, I didn't do the other side yet. So here is where I'm going to be showing you guys the process of actually molding the kit onto the car. So after several layers of filler and sanding, we've gotten to this point. Obviously nowhere near perfect. A good base to build off of to actually skim coat the whole panel, make it smooth. The reason we are putting a skim coat over the entire panel instead of just like the blend area is because this panel, as you can see, is very textured. There's lots of little low spots and pits. Well, I'm happy to say we are now at the point of block sanding. That is the point we're at. All of the panels have now been skim coated with body filler. They look nice and stripy, but that's okay because the majority of this body filler will be sanded off. This is just so we can actually smooth out the panels and get a realistic finish instead of that weird dimpled plastic. And by the time we're done block sanding, it should look something like this. This is not done completely. There's still things we need to adjust, like it's a bit wavy here. This plastic is too high, so I'm gonna grind that down a little bit and then re-body filler this. This actually starts to look like it's part of the car. I've finished blocking it out with 40 grit. There are still, obviously high spots, low spots, and some very deep sanding marks. I don't want to go any further with the 40 grit because it's very aggressive, so I'm going to switch up to the 80 grit. So I'm trying not to bore you guys with repetitive clips of me sanding because it all looks exactly the same, but I've been sanding, and now we're starting to get a good wide body look to the car. We got all of the dings and stuff sorted on the hood. The very fine stone chips will just end up being filled and block sanded with filler primer. Fenders are looking molded. Still need to do more sanding on the door where we deleted the trim. But I finally found something to do that's not sanding. If you look, this is an aftermarket fiberglass spoiler. She's got some crackage. And then she's got more crackage. So what we're gonna do is grind out that crack, mixed up some resin and stuff, fix her up. Well, I've been doing a lot of progress off camera because it's kind of boring to just watch me sand the same thing over and over again. If we go around the car now, you can see the fenders and the quarter panels are all pretty much the shape we want them to be. And I sprayed, or basically misted on, very fine coat of primer that I'm going to use as a guide coat. And now we're going to start blocking everything down again, but with a lighter grit, just to get rid of all the sanding marks, because that was, I believe, 120. Now we're going to go up to 240. Again, I'm not going to do this on camera because it's the same motion over and over again. But next time you see it, all of this hazy primer should be gone and the panels should be nice and smooth. The bodywork is done. Just look at it. Just look. It's done. So happy because now that the bodywork is done, Jesse's gonna be going ahead and priming it. Also doing a 6-speed swap on this, converting to 5x114 bolt pattern for the wheels. Lots more good stuff to come.
Now we are all masked up on the coupe here. Everything has been wiped down. We're ready to wet the floor, mix up some filler primer, and spray away. So I've got an assortment of parts here. I'll kind of rotate these as I go, just to get filler primer on the spots where I do need them, like the little spots we had to modify and whatnot. So this will be nice because I'll be able to get all this filler primer done in one shot. I had to kind of double mask the doors, get the top of the rocker there. Should be sweet. So I'm going to spray away. With the high build primer on, it is looking pretty good. So now I'm going to unmask it and bring it back over to the other side and we can begin the finishing work. It doesn't look horrible, like, you know, it brings out some of the pinholes here and there. Like, I don't think you can see that, very small. But yeah, that's what it's for. It's a little bit of finishing work. The filler primer is really good at taking out the transition in any of the filler what you would have used. So I'm going to unmask it all and we will begin the final stage here before paint. After the filler primer, we've gone around the car, done any touch-ups we've needed to do. Now we can wheel it on in and the body is ready for paint, which is very exciting. As I'm doing that, then Rob will continue on the loose pieces. So we got to do the underside of the hood and a slew of other items over there. So let's get this into the booth, get her painted, and I'll bring you guys back. It's the next day here and we have got the coupe in color. It's looking really good. At the back here, we've got some sun coming through the paint booth window with the door open, or maybe, no, it's gone. But it was really showing off the metallic in it. There you go. Yeah, she looks great. Bodywork is definitely a 10 out of 10. We did have to do the jams because the bodywork went in that far, so we did the doors as well. The trunk jam also. And then because we have to paint both sides of the hood, we had the hood off. We'll end up hanging the hood, but then we're also able to get the inner edges of the fenders and the hinges. So I'm going to get this unmasked now, pull it out, and we will prepare for the next bits here. Got all the loose remaining pieces set up here. We had to dangle the hood so we could do both sides. Bumper, one more spat, dangling spoiler, a couple mirrors, and a couple more little loose ends here, which will finish up our paint application on the car and we can get it all assembled. We got the body back in the shop for some assembly, so I've started working my way around, getting some of the moldings and whatnot back on. It doesn't look like much has changed because it's a black car, getting a bunch of black pieces put back onto it, but it is coming along. So I've got a bit more to go, and then once we get the other pieces out of paint, we can do a complete assembly, and we will have ourselves a car, which is very exciting. So overall, I'd say this turned out super awesome. Probably one of the cooler projects we've been able to do here. So I am really hoping between today and when the owner comes to pick up the car that maybe we get some natural sunlight outside. Kind of the start of winter here in Canada, and it is currently snowing and has been snowing for the last couple days. There's not a huge accumulation of snow on the ground. All gloomy and overcast out. So as you guys saw, the car was originally black. We had recommended a little bit cooler of a black. So this is the Bug Eye WX Midnight Black Pearl, or Midnight Blue Pearl, whatever you want to call it. I have this on my Bug Eye, and it is definitely one of the cooler factory Subaru colors. Even though on here it just looks pitch black, but in the sun it is super awesome. Really wild metallic and an excellent pearl in it. They almost turn like a dark navy blue in the sun. So this little device here simulates sunlight, and the reason I wanted to get it in the sun is to show you the metallic and the pearl in the paint. So we use this for making sure we get good coverage when we're doing stuff, but it really will bring out the metallic in the paint there. So the day I pulled this out of the booth, it was sunny out, and in the sun it almost turns like navy blue because there's so much metallic. It was really, really sweet. One little thing I may have missed in filming the video itself is the front bumper fitment. So we got it really, really good. Like, it's amazing. I don't think there's anything you could complain about. The profile is perfect. The wheel well matches up perfect. How did we do that? We actually had to cut and section here and close it back up. So we did that with panel bond and some body filler after, but the bumper mounts like factory after that. And then now the wheel well profile is correct, which if you just put the bumper on as is, it was horrible. And the rear bumper as well, I'd like to highlight, again, the profile is just perfect to the car along with the wheel well. This didn't take as much work in the rear bumper. We didn't have to do any modifications to the bumper itself. In the quarter panel, we have bolts and a nut going down holding it. But what we did have to do was actually slide the bumper back a little bit. A very, very little bit. So you can't actually tell. After flooding the rocker panels and the quarter panels from the repairs and to keep it going longer, now we are going to blast some black fluid film all underneath of the chassis to help preserve it. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have liked and subscribed. We had a lot of fun doing this project and it turned out really, really nice. We're very happy with it and we're excited to see what the owner thinks. Alrighty guys, till the next one.